Greetings, salutations. Welcome to this Prophetic Insights where we analyze current events as they are fulfilling Bible prophecies. Safe to Serve International, first-time viewers, welcome one, welcome all to this Prophetic Insights. We have come to another session wherein by God's grace, we're going to reason together as we consider these current events fulfilling Bible prophecies and how these things are going to affect you and me in these last days of Earth's history. It's time for us to get prepared. And as we go throughout this, we're going to see that the world leaders, the conspirators, they're actually revealing their true colors. And they're telling us that there is a benefit to keep the masses ignorant, to keep the masses poor, to keep the masses hungry, to keep them as paupers. All right, brothers and sisters, we are aware of the actual idiom, showing one's true colors, to show what one is really like. That's what it means. To reveal one's real nature or character. He seemed nice at first, but he showed his true colors during the crisis. And are we not in a time of crisis? Well, friends, let's take a look here at the recent report from the United Nations stating that global hunger numbers rose to as many as almost 1 billion people in 2021. The UN reports world is moving backwards on eliminating hunger and malnutrition. And it sounds good from the UN, right? Okay. World hunger rising as UN agencies warn of looming catastrophe. So on the surface, it seems as if the UN means well. They want to care for the people globally who are suffering hunger, starvation, etc. Right? Notice now this article that was published on the UN's platform stating the benefits of world hunger. Look at this, brothers and sisters. There it is. The UN Chronicle, United Nations, headline, the benefits of world hunger. Does this not contradict the previous articles we looked at? How they're striving to end world hunger? Let's take a look at this, friends. An article appeared on the UN Chronicle website as recently as this past Wednesday, a few weeks ago, days ago Wednesday, that touted the benefits of world hunger and has seemingly been taken down. I wonder why. But there were screenshots of the post. And this is the actual justification for the article from the UN. Look at the words in the red box. UN Chronicle on Twitter. It states, this article appeared in the UN Chronicle 14 years ago as an attempt at satire and was never meant to be taken literally. We have been made aware of its failures, even as satire, and have removed it from our sight. Beloved, do you know what satire means? Of course. Humor, irony, ridicule. Yes, mockery, derision, scorn. Friends, let's really think about this right here. Are they taking the poor for granted? How would you react? How would you think? How would people think if the president of this country stood up and said that, listen, there is a benefit to keep a certain race, class of people ignorant, poor, hungry, and as government paupers? How would you respond to that statement? And in the same breath, on the campaign trail, he would say, I'm here for the poor. We want to assist the poor. And all of a sudden now, he's stating the benefits of keeping people, let's say, as financial slaves. How would you respond to that? Let's reason. What if your doctor, doctors take this oath, right? What if your doctor were to say to you, I'm here for you. I'm here for you. At the same time, just before a surgery or a procedure, your doctor will look at you and tell you, listen, there's a benefit to keep you sick. There's a benefit not to get you well. There's a benefit to keep you sick. And when you look at him, a double take, what, doc? Doc, what did you say? And then he gives you a smirk. I was just joking. That's sarcasm. Calm down, Andrew, calm down. Calm down, Joan. Calm down, Mary Smith. Calm down, John Brown. I'm simply joking. Don't take it seriously. What would you think of that doctor? Worse, if in the next few moments or days he was to operate on you, what would you think? Friends, put all these things in the same context of what we're reading now from the UN. Most of us have businesses or even have a job. Let's say for those who work for an employer. What if your employer said to you, you know what? I want my business to grow. If I flourish, you all as employees will also flourish. Yes, I'm here for you. All right? And in the same breath, next moment, next day, he were to say, but there's a benefit to keep all you employees poor. I won't give you a raise. Even as cost of living increases. A benefit to keep you poor and hungry. What would you do? What would you think? That's what we're talking about here. Let's take a look at the so-called Satire article from the UN. Why would they take it down? So recently, after being posted 14 years ago, let me tell you something. They are revealing their true colors. These are the conspirators. There is a conspiracy among us. And all they would say, well, it was just a joke. Can you not tolerate a joke? You mean it's a joke to say there's a benefit to keep people hungry, poor, paupers, homeless? That's a joke? While you live in your estate, your mansions? That's a joke? Look at this, brothers and sisters. It says, this is the article. It says, we sometimes talk about hunger in the world as if it were a scourge that all of us want to see abolished, like the plague or AIDS. Hunger has great positive value to many people. I wonder which many people are these. They'll tell you. Hungry people are the most productive people, especially where there is a need for manual labor. For those who depend on the availability of cheap labor, hunger is the foundation of their wealth. For those of us, I wonder who comprise the us. For those of us at the high end of the social ladder, ending hunger globally would be a disaster. Let me say this, friends. It's not accidental why certain countries are under certain tyrannical, draconian, communist rule. Keep those people as government paupers, right? Why? Because those in other nations now can receive their cheap labor. That's all it is. Slavery, brothers and sisters. Slavery. And the leader of those governments, those tyrants, I should say, are also in cahoots with the puppet master and the leaders of other nations. And now we're seeing now a movement to get all the nations of the so-called free world, the capitalist countries, like those over there in the East. And there are a few in South America and so on in the Caribbean. You know what I'm talking about. Let's read on. It says, if there were no hunger in the world, listen to this, who would plow the fields? Are we to say then that the elites are a bunch of sluggards? A group of sluggards? Pardon me. Lazy people, indolent? Let's read on here. If there were no hunger in the world, who would plow the fields? Who would harvest our vegetables? That's slavery. Who would work in the rendering plants? Who would clean our toilets? Who would have to produce? We would have to produce, rather, our own food and clean our own toilets. No wonder people at the high end are not rushing to solve the hunger problem. For many of us, hunger is not a problem, but an asset. That's it, brothers and sisters. And let me tell you something. They can say it's simply sarcasm. We are told, red words, there is a grain of truth in every joke. And I'm not going to sit around. I would not sit around while individuals make a joke at my expense or my people's expense. No. Not here. The trumpet will give a distinct and certain sound. Wake up, brothers and sisters. Wake up, Safe to Serve International. Wake up, SDA people. Wake up, professed Christians. Wake up, first-time viewers. Can you not see what's happening? Watch this. This is why I know, without a shadow of a doubt, Ellen White was indeed inspired. Look at the statement here. While appearing to the children of men as a great physician who can heal all their maladies, he will bring disease and disaster. That's it. Until populous cities are reduced to ruin and desolation. That's it. And look at those conspirators up there. While they claim to be, we want to help the poor. Yes, those nations, yes, they are the same ones bringing the calamities. And remember, we are told, my friends, in the book of Revelation, of course, on one hand, we want to end global hunger. Over 1 billion people now are suffering at the same time printing that article. Then calling it sarcasm, satire, faux. Let me continue. The Bible says in Revelation 13 and verse 16, there are only going to be two classes. It says small and great. Yes, rich and poor. And that poor means paupers. All right. Then it says, my friends, government dependent. Then it says free and bond, slavery. That's the name of the game. And that's why I must put this statement in the record. Slavery will again be revived. I wonder, how will it look? How will it look? Well, let's simply wait until the unrolling of the scroll of prophecy, the scroll of time. Okay, allow me to segue now. Those same men you saw up there, yes, these same men here, friends, I'm going to pick on the one to the far right of your screen. All right? Now, to get to him, I must first address his minion. All right? Yes, his puppet. And that is the Prime Minister up there in Canada. Friends, let me ask you a question. If you saw other nations, all right, if you were a leader of a country, and you saw 4, 5, 6, 7 nations, and not a particular policy that has been leading to the destruction of the middle class, entrepreneurs, small business owners, and will inevitably lead to food scarcity, hunger, poverty in those nations. Would you enact the same policies? We're reasoning tonight, right? Prophetic insights. Would you enact the same policies? As a conscientious person who claim to love your people, they voted for you, right? They perspired. Some of them even perspired blood just for you to put you into office, right? They gave their donations to put you into office. They're pennies. They're $1. They're $10, $100. You claim to love the people. Would you enact the same policies? Now, some of you would say no. But again, we're not in politics. I'm simply making a point here. We're reasoning. All right? But you would not enact those same policies. Why? You love your people. Watch this. The only person who would do so is a person who is in on the conspiracy to destroy his own people. He is a traitor. It's treasonous. Yes, it's a betrayal. That's what it is. Look at this now, brothers, and there it is. Trudeau pushes ahead on fertilizer reduction as provinces and farmers cry foul. July 22nd, what's today's date? The Trudeau government, is demanding an absolute reduction in emission or climate change, which farmers say will result in less food. That's it, friends. Being produced at a time when the world can ill afford it. Similar plans to reduce fertilizer use have result in mass protests in Europe, in particular, the place called the Netherlands. There it is, brothers and sisters. There it is. Until farmers groups, farmers forum, now wondering, red words, if Justin Trudeau is intentionally trying to cause a food shortage, which Trudeau previously told Canadians to prepare for. Do you know why they can predict it? You remember, I've been covering this. The reason why they can predict these incidents is because they are the ones bringing about the crises. They are the agitators. They are the instigators. There it is, my friends. Prime Minister Justin's policy, listen, he wants to enact the same fertilizer policy that's causing rebellion among the Dutch farmers. Let's pause right there. The sad reality is that the policies he wants to enact are destroying countries in the same time period. The same month of June, July. That's my point. Is this not a conspiracy? We're reasoning here. All right? There it is. Dutch farmers protest Netherlands national program to reduce nitrogen emissions. We are food producers, not pollution producers. They are saying, my friends, Dutch farmers angry over mandatory measures to drastically reduce nitrogen emissions. That's it, brothers and sisters. And even other platforms are connecting the dots, telling us, red words, top right of your screen, telling us, friends, the UN's protocol, the UN's policies, the WCEF policies are very similar to those outlined in the World Economic Forum's Great Reset Agenda, which states that by the year 2030, you will own nothing and you will be happy. Both Trudeau and I believe are listed on the website being labeled an agenda contributor. All right. You remember what Klaus Schwab said? Listen again.
When I mention now names like Mrs. Merkel, even Vladimir Putin and so on, they all have been young global leaders of the World Economic Forum. Mm-hmm. But what we are very proud of now, the young generation, like Prime Minister Trudeau, President of Argentina and so on, that we penetrate the cabinets. So yesterday I was at a reception for Prime Minister.
Past that, we are the ones building the future.
Let's also be clear. The future is not just happening. The future is built by us.
And who said those words? The Pope of Rome, the conspirators. That's it, brothers and sisters. Listen.
Farmers' protests in the Netherlands and elsewhere are revealing the devastating effects of nitrogen restrictions being imposed by globalist elites. farmers in Canada are also starting to feel the heat of similar restrictions enacted under the pretext of climate change. Church Militan's Martina Moisky tells us more about the precarious situation in Canada and how the people are responding.
So people assume we are just going back to the good old world which we had, and everything will be normal again.
The nitrogen policy of Canada's leftist Prime Minister is poised to destroy Canadian farming and the family farm model. Phony Catholic Justin Trudeau's plan targets nitrous oxide emissions from fertilizer and seeks to reduce them by 30% from 2020 to 2030. The move is bound to lower crop yield.
Could this be the final decade of Earth's history? I'm going to tell you why. They have no conscience, no concern, right? They have no second thoughts to destroy the food production. I'm going to tell you, we're reasoning. Listen.
Over the next decade, worrying farmers and the general populace alike. Average Canadians from east to west are angry, telling Trudeau exactly what they think.
Second, you communist! Go, Trudeau, you're nothing but a communist pig! That's what you are! You're disgusting! You should resign!
Great to see so many people representing.
The policy is being pushed by Canada's zealous Minister of Environment and Climate Change, Stephen Guilbeault, as a...
What is behind all of this? Oh, friends, climate change. I'm coming to this. Listen, let's continue.
Voluntary measure, but Conservative Albertan MP John Barlow is predicting farmers won't have a choice. Barlow says Guilbeault has been very public over the years on his animosity toward traditional agriculture and the family farm model.
Wait. What do they want to destroy? Forget the family farm model? Okay, you mean also individual garden? Beloved, were we not told we should already be in the country having our own garden, producing our own food? The handwriting is on the wall.
The plan is also a perfect storm for food shortages. A grain farmer in Ontario says cutting fertilizer means you're looking at cutting food supply. The 50-year-old Prime Minister isn't taking concrete action to solve the problem for Canadians, instead offering platitudes.
And Canadians will do what we always do. We'll be there for each other. We will continue to be there for the world.
It appears to many...
Do you know what that means? Friends, that's what I mean. Because they know once they destroy the food producing in these countries, simply, then they will be the ones to provide food to the families. So those individuals, the families, become government paupers. The plan is working just as they drew the blueprint. I'm going to give you a Bible. Hold on.
Is more loyal to the World Economic Forum and his mentor Klaus Schwab than to Canadians. Martina Moisky, Church Militant Evening News, Detroit.
In his book, COVID-19, The Great Reset, Schwab lays out two paths for the world. One is, quote, more inclusive, more equitable, and more respectful of Mother Nature. The other is supposedly, quote, dogged by nasty surprises.
Surprises. Well, we're told, my friends, that Christians should be preparing for what is soon to break upon this world as an overwhelming surprise. That's Prophets and Kings, page 626. And this preparation we should begin to make by diligently studying the Word of God and striving to conform to its precepts. Again, I tell you, why would they try to destroy the private sector and farming industries? Why? They want to control food. The one who controls the food can enslave the masses. You remember in the time of Joseph? There it is, brothers and sisters. Money failed, right? You remember that? And also the people went to the government to get what? Bread. and they sold their land, they sold their bodies, and what happened? Eventually, they had to bow down to Egypt. That's where we're heading, brothers and sisters. And it's all in the context of combating climate change. You know, friend, I have so much more to say, but I want you to understand it's time to stop talking about preparation, but be found prepared in these last days. If you want to learn more about preparation, this afternoon at 12 p.m. Eastern, I brought forward an important lesson during midday power surge. If you have the time, go take a peek at what was covered. By God's grace, I'll see you tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern for midday power surge. By the way, before I go, you remember we were told, my friends, that what's happening in Sri Lanka was simply a harbinger of larger things to come around the rest of the world in the coming months? Well, you're seeing it now. You're seeing it now. Will it also come to America? The protests from east heading west. Sri Lanka is east. The pendulum is swinging prophetically from east to west. Maranatha. See you tomorrow.